One. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Interviewing the Legends. I'm your host, Ray Shasho. Born in Montreal, Andy Kim was inspired by the Beatles, Hank Williams, Frank Sinatra, Elvis, Buddy Holly, and Bob Dylan. He found fame in New York City at just 16 years old when he wrote, "How Do We Ever Get This Way?" The first of 9 Billboard Top 40 hits, including number one songs Rock Me Gently and Sugar Sugar, one of Billboard's greatest songs of all time. A true Canadian son, Andy has been awarded the country's top industry honors 3 times: the JUNO Award for Outstanding Achievements in the Record Industry, as well as the Indie Award for Favorite Solo Artist, and a star on Canada's Walk of Fame. Andy is a member of Songwriters Hall of Fame and was inducted into Billboard's Hit Parade Hall of Fame. Over his epic career, Andy has sold over 30 million records, and the Archies Sugar Sugar has been streamed over 350 million times on Spotify and YouTube. For nearly 20 years, the Andy Kim Christmas has been gathering friends and fans to celebrate the spirit and generosity of the musical community, with all proceeds going to charity. The concerts have brought people together from coast to coast on television and in concert, bringing its cumulative money raised to over 2.3 million. The one-of-a-kind charity event has previously included performances by some of the country's most sought-after singer-songwriters and performers. Andy Kim will be appointed to the Order of Canada in 2024. Please welcome legendary Canadian singer and songwriter, best known for the international hit Baby I Love You in 1969, Rock Me Gently in 1974, and Sugar Sugar in 1968 as part of the Archies, Andy Kim, to Interviewing the Legends. Hello, Andy.
Hello. Thank you for the intro. Just know that I am very, very honored and grateful and extremely lucky.
Well, it's not all luck. You said something about I had a quote that you said here somewhere, if I can find it. Anyway, it'll come up later. I'll find it later. Anyway, it takes strength and perseverance, and yeah, I don't think it was all luck. You got a gifted voice. You really do, and you're a great songwriter.
You know what? First of all, a little disclaimer. I have worn my sunglasses
Okay.
only because you're wearing sunglasses. So I just figured, okay, so before we go anywhere, I just need for everybody to know that these sunglasses kind of belong to your inspiration.
Oh, thank you.
Look, there's a lot of great songwriters, a lot of great artists, a lot of great musicians that never get to be honored. They never get the hits. They never get the opportunity to showcase to the world how good they are. And so I've always felt that I've been living a dream, and the dream has followed me all these years, or I followed the dream all these years. I haven't figured that out yet, but I just know I tour quite a bit at one point, and then not so much, and then again a lot. And I go to clubs and I hear some musicians play, and boy, are they so talented. And so I don't know what it takes to be able to be a little different at that time in my life, but I sure am, as I said earlier, just honored and privileged to be here.
I found the quote. You said, "My career is more about courage than talent." I love that.
Yeah, because go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I grew up in the tenements of Montreal, and how we grew up, we were surrounded by other families that lived in the tenements of Montreal, and
Right.
and it was a transistor radio that changed my life and allowed me to dream a dream beyond anything I could ever imagine possible. And I was able to get WKBW in Buffalo and WABC in New York. And it was the first time I was able to dream beyond my station in life, beyond the tenements. And maybe we all get there. Maybe something triggers us to learn an instrument, to inspire us to maybe write a song. It inspired me to want to go to New York City and be around the great songwriters and maybe learn from them. And so although my parents never really understood what I did, I didn't understand it either, but I think I had the courage to just say, I'm going to do this.
You said something else. It's actually a Mark Twain quote, which is so true, man. I'm glad you brought this up. The two most important days in your life: the day you were born and the day you find out why. I love that.
That's a great quote, isn't it?
It's incredible. And I guess you found out.
Yeah, you know what? Sometimes you find out why, and you get beaten up for the why. You get beaten up because it's not a family tradition. It did not happen to you, because your family doesn't really understand what it is that you're doing, because it's not where they came from. So I think once I fought that battle, and I was headstrong enough to know that I could do something that I had no experience in, because I believed in something that was ethereal, you know? So it just, you know, I don't know how it really got here, to be honest with you. I really don't know. I was just one day at a time, one lyric, one song, one dream at a time. And before you know it, I look back and I think, what a great life.
Yeah.
What a great journey. The good times, the bad times, the times people ignored me and didn't think I, deserved anything. I never listened to those people. They were not part of my dream. They're not part of my script, as I would like to think, So fight for what you believe in. Because this is our only shot at living our lives.
I agree.
And there's no sequel.
Yep. Do what makes you happy,
Totally.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell you, man, the Christmas show, which is going to be in Toronto on December 6th. I wish you were touring that. I wish you'd come here. I remember seeing the Andy Williams Christmas show. He did that tour thing. And every Christmas, we used to go see that. So did you ever think about, touring the US with that show?
I would love to. It's funny. I don't pay anybody. We do this because the community of musicians, from broken social scene to metric, to Canadian artists that have traveled the world and have a true sense of a dream. They donate their time. Everybody shows up so that, in Toronto, it's for mental health. I do a show in Montreal for Starlight Children's Foundation, which is also an American foundation. But I sure would love to get on board and do something in the United States, if you could help me do that, I would do that in a
Oh, I'd
heartbeat.
love it. Yeah, I would definitely love it, man. Um, I interview a lot of Canadian artists. You know, JUNO, of course. He's from Montreal, right?
Great
And
artist.
yeah, you've got to know Paul Anka, no?
Yeah, I think he's the first one that kind of broke through and gave people in Canada the belief that, you know, a Canadian can go and become an international star.
Yeah, just incredible. And being in the record business, of course, Casey Kasem, man, he was
Oh yeah,
big influence. You know,
totally.
my
Yeah,
friend, my Lebanese buddy knew, you know, his family knew Casey Kasem. You know, I think they had like a Lebanese reunion every year, and a lot of them got together. You know, and they met a lot of people, which was really cool. Yeah. I could talk a lot about your great hits, which a lot of people have already done. We know the Monkees missed the boat on Sugar Sugar. They were so darn stubborn they
no,
wouldn't record it.
can I fix that? Can I
Yes,
fix
go
that?
ahead.
Sure. So the musical director, or the musical genius behind the Monkees,
Hmm.
was a guy named Don Kirshner.
Yep.
Everybody knows Kirshner.
Yep. We love him.
And
Yep.
so Don Kirshner got fired from the Monkees, and you know, and people would say, well, you know, the Monkees don't write their own songs and they don't play their own instruments. Well, neither did Frank Sinatra or some of the great artists like Barbra
True.
Streisand
Right.
write their own songs and play their own instruments.
Hmm.
I think that the Monkees got shortchanged, and so, but it became chaos, and he heard that the Archies, the comic book, was going to be on television, and he came up with the idea that there should be some songs during the 30 minutes of animation. So there was a cattle call. You're familiar with cattle calls?
Sure.
You know,
Yep.
so you go up for the job, and they say yes or no when you're gone, you know.
Hmm.
And so you write, and you hand it in. And I was able to actually be in the office and played a song for him. But you don't know if anything's going to work.
Hmm.
So when people, I've spoken to Mickey about it, and God rest his soul, Davey, when they needed to do that last album for the Monkees, I had written some songs, and they recorded those songs. But the issue for me has always been, how do you feel about the music? How do you feel the way it's done? I'm not interested in whether there's a rumor that is a false rumor that he wanted to give it to the Monkees. When I first met him, he was involved in the Archies, which meant that he had been fired from the Monkees and had found, hey man, he did the Midnight Special. Come on, the man with the golden ear is what they used to call Donnie.
Right.
And so for me, every time I hear, well, you know, the Monkees turned it down, it's a great story, but it's a lie.
Okay.
So it's a great lie. But anyway, but I interrupted you. You were going on to say something about the Monkees and
well,
Don.
I had Mickey on the show. I love Mickey. To me, he was the Monkees. He had the voice.
Yeah.
You know, Davey was great voice, but Mickey to me was the spirit of the Monkees, you know, and such a good guy. You know, I got to meet him in person and everything after one of the shows and interviewed him and everything. But your songs, man, bring back so many great memories. I remember when Baby I Love You came out. I really thought the Come On Baby, no, I thought that was psychedelic. wasn't it? It was kind of psychedelic back in the late 60s. I loved it. Had a psychedelic flair to it. It was great. And of course, Rock Me Gently, man. It was, so many wonderful memories with Rock Me Gently. It's a great songs. But you know what I really wanted to talk about? I wanted to talk about It's Decided. That's your last studio LP. I absolutely love this album. It's so different, man. And you teamed up with the guy from the Kevin Drew, right?
Yeah. Broken
You
Social
guys,
Scene. Yeah.
you guys have you guys mesh very well together,
Well, first of all, Kevin is a very special spirit. I think he leads Broken Social Scene in a very spiritual way. Great talent, but there's a spirituality about him. And I remember he came with Brendan, who's also the co-creator of Broken Social Scene.
Right.
They came to my Christmas show to perform, and Kevin had not heard anything about me, except that someone told him, "Hey, man, you should do this show. It's for charity." So he put a band together, and so he came and he started hearing the songs, and he says, "Well, is that you? Sugar, Sugar, and Rock Me. Is that you?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "I've heard those songs." So we became acquaintances, and then we became friends.
Mm-hmm.
And as a friend, he came up to me and said, "I want to produce your next Andy Kim album." And I said, "Well, I don't think people are waiting for another Andy Kim anything, He said, no, I want to do this album completely different from how you recorded before.
Exactly.
And I went into the studio with him, and to me, magic happened.
Mm-hmm.
Not only did we help create a different sounding Andy Kim, but we got on the Letterman show. I did the David Letterman show like a few weeks before he retired.
Right.
Could not have done that without Kevin. And then Kevin calls and says, Hal Wilner, who was, God rest his soul, was the music director for Saturday Night Live, doing a thing in LA with a bunch of artists. You got to come. And I go with him, and before you know it, I'm on stage with Courtney Love singing Sugar, Sugar.
Wow.
So this spirit, Kevin Drew, has really kind of given me an aspect of my life that I didn't know existed. And so we talked recently about doing a documentary together and maybe going into the studio together. But I'll be honest with you, man. It's again, we'll go circle back to square one. It's about the courage to say yes.
Yeah. This album, man, people are going to identify it like, rock, progressive rock. I mean, it's totally different, you sound like Bono on a couple of these tracks. Has anybody told you that you said that some of these tracks sound like you too?
No, but
really, I hear it.
I'll take it.
Heaven Without a Gun, Sister Okay. That's both of those tracks. It's emotional, you sound a lot like Bono in those tracks. Totally different. Which is a good thing.
It's really being available to open your heart and spirit
right
up to what someone feels like you are. And I'm deep down inside, I'm still the third of four brothers,
right,
from Montreal. I don't think I could ever shed that skin. As I said earlier, that was lucky and blessed to end up at the Brill Building with the likes of, Phil Spector and everyone else there, Jeff Barry, Ellie Greenwich, Lieber Stoller, Carole King, Jerry Goffin,
Carole
Barry
King.
Manson,
Yeah.
all of those great artists and
Right.
writers. I learned from them, and I was just lucky to be there and learn my craft, because I went there on a dream, and the dream didn't let me down, or did not let any of those professional writers and producers down either, you know. And one of the things that happened to me this year was, I think, the most wonderful moment in my life that I was in tears about was that this country, Canada, awarded me the Officer of the Order of Canada. It's, you know, in the U.S., it's the Medal of Freedom that the
Congratulations, by the way.
And
Yeah.
I still can't believe that I broke down and cried on the phone when they called me, because I remember, you know, my mom and dad, both immigrants, coming to Canada and living where we lived. And so I think I'm at a time in my life where I'm kind of looking back at how I got here, you know?
Yeah. Andy, I want to say too, you look great. You look like, well, 40.
It's the glasses. It's the glasses.
You look fantastic, man. You really do. Yeah.
Well, you know, I think we can form a band.
Yeah, I think so. Why not? But I really want to give a lot of kudos to this album, because all my rock listeners, my progressive rock listeners, you're going to hear a lot of bits and pieces of some legendary music. You know, some people may think of Andy Kim, you know, from the top 40 days and this and that. This is totally different, and it's very sophisticated music. Well done. Great mix between both of you guys. And I can't say anything else, you know, more about it. It's just a terrific album. I really, really enjoyed it. And I wish more people would listen to it, you know?
Well, thank you for alerting everybody for this. And I think what it allowed me to do, when we talked about courage early on,
Yeah.
Allowed me to give all the anxieties that I had about doing this, to be able to just say, okay, I'm going to do it. I don't know how, I don't know why, but I just opened my arms up to, you know, the spirits that have, look, between you and me, God sent me one of his angels to take care of me all my life.
I think you're right.
And so I'm just speechless when it comes to going back in time and seeing what I'm doing now, how my life is.
Well, I'm going to promote the heck out of this album. You know, Sail On, that could be a country hit.
Oh my God. I have to, you know, I still remember, it took me like 5 minutes to write the lyrics and the melody. And then Kevin came in and kind of massaged it and made it what it is. You know, that album is it's like a dream come true without realizing that you were dreaming for something like that. You know, it's like meeting that special someone in your life that you never thought that you had any more ability to feel
right,
something bigger than you after living a life, you know?
Sure.
You kind of settle into who you are, and then, you know, someone shows up like Kevin Drew and makes magic happen.
You think you'll do another one with Kevin?
We're going to do something this coming year. Yeah.
Awesome. I'm really looking forward to that. because I gave it 5 stars. That's how good I thought this album was.
Thank you so much.
It's great, man. It really is. Your buddy Jeff Berry, you worked together for so many years. Wow. And I don't know if people realize how many hits you and Jeff wrote together, and then Jeff by himself. I mean, Jeff did Do Wah Diddy Diddy, and that Do Run Run and Be My Baby. And I mean, so many tunes.
It goes on and on. Chapel of Love with Ellie and
incredible.
And hold on. I'll think about it in 2 seconds here.
Okay.
It's the Ike and Tina Turner that American radio stations didn't play, but was so huge in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
And River Deep Mountain High.
Right. River Deep Mountain High, right.
Yep. And was Jeff and Ellie and Phil Spector. And
mm-hmm.
And later on, I find out that Ike and Tina did a version of Sugar Sugar. I don't know if you ever heard that one.
I did hear that. Yeah.
And so, being around Jeff and being around Ellie and everyone else, it was just, hey, I don't know what kind of word to use, but
magic.
Magic is even a better word. Yeah. I mean, the fact that I was allowed to be there, the fact that I didn't come from a musical family, and I wasn't, great at anything except playing rhythm guitar, which I played on most of my early records.
Right.
Look, Rock Me Gently was a song I wrote, I sang, I produced, and all of that was really my bow to everybody that helped me early on in my life, because I would not have done this all of a sudden on my own.
Bass players must love you for Rock Me Gently, because they never get the recognition. They did maybe back in the disco days because there was a lot more bass, but you know how bass players are.
Yeah, absolutely. I still remember the evening in Los Angeles. I had just moved from New York to Los Angeles, and having written the song one morning, and then I wanted to make a record, and I didn't know anybody, and so I called around my New York friends, and they said, "Well, why don't you call the Musicians Union?" So I called the Musicians Union, and 5 strangers showed up, and I had this one song I wanted to make, and I really knew I knew the sound of everything. I knew the way the drums should feel. I knew everything about it. But the bass player was late, and when he got in, and I was just playing the guitar, trying to get a groove going, and I hear "Dick-a-doon doon 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 dick-a-doon doon doon," and I turned to him and I said, "So what is that?" He says, "I'm tuning my bass." I said, "Well, the song." So to be able to capture it and to be able to say, "Oh my God." And that bass line really told everyone else exactly where we were going with that song.
Incredible. It's weird how things work out, sometimes by accident, it's great. Andy, I know you're on a tight schedule. Here's my final question to you. And I ask everybody this question. I get some really interesting answers. If you had a Field of Dreams wish, like the movie, which is one of my favorite movies, to perform, collaborate with anyone from the past or present, who would that be?
Whoa. I would probably say, I just wish I could meet Paul McCartney, because John Lennon gave me my gold record for Rock Me Gently.
Oh, wow. That's
I
great.
was allowed to be in the studio when he was in LA recording with Phil Spector.
Mhm.
It's not that we were friends, and it's not that we had long conversations, but just the magnitude of who he is, not who he was, because he's still part of my life,
Mhm.
and part of all our lives. But McCartney's been there from the beginning, and I just wish that maybe one day I would just say thank you for your inspiration,
Mhm.
thank you for so many great songs, but for helping me dream that maybe I could do something like that.
Mhm. I
So
think you will. You will meet him one day. I think so. You know, he gets around.
he does, but I don't know where he's spending his heartbeats these days.
Yeah.
So,
Well, he'll never retire. That's for sure.
for sure.
Andy, what's next for you? What can we? You're going to work on the next album. We know that. You
Yep.
got your Christmas show.
I'm doing a Christmas show. Kevin and I are going to do some music next year.
Mhm.
There's a couple of movies that are coming out. There are using Sugar Sugar and Rock Me Gently in
Oh,
separate
great.
movies.
Fantastic.
And I am looking to tour the US this coming year. 2020
Awesome.
will be, will be kind of a celebration year for me.
Mhm.
And so I'm talking to some people. Hopefully we can have a tour put together
Good.
and see you in person.
Good. Please come to Florida.
I love Florida,
Yeah, I'm on the West Coast. Near Tampa. Awesome. I want to say special thanks to Eric Alper, music commentator and shameless idealist, for arranging this interview with Andy Kim today. Purchase Andy Kim's most recent release, It's Decided. You can buy that at Amazon.com. And for more information about Andy Kim, go to his website, www.andykimmusic.com. You're on Facebook, Twitter, Spotify, and I'm listing all your music on all my websites. Andy, thank you so much, man, for being on the show. You are a true legend. I've always loved your music, and you look great.
Well, thank you. Look, as I said earlier on, I feel lucky and blessed, and I'm honored to have spent my heartbeats with you. Thank you.
Well, we're honored to have you, and honored to be sharing your experiences and your wonderful music on a daily basis. Thank you so much.
God bless you.
Take care. You too. Bye-bye.